Let's dispel one of the myths in the birthing world. I hear many times, I was about to die. They saved me. So why do we have this pessimistic view about birth, about childbirth? Why do we think that we might die? Why do we think that birth is an emergency, is a tragic event? Do you actually hear positive stories? Because yes, I'm a midwife. I hear many stories, but many of them are really negative, tragic. And this is not about not validating your story, your experience, your emotions about your birth story. This is about just offering a reflection of the vision that we have about birth globally. And I will probably address it in another video, but I think that this reflection is also linked with the vision that we have about death. We think that doesn't exist. We are scared of death. We don't talk about it, it's a taboo. And I think it's linked with birthing, with birth. In this video, I'm offering you now 4 points that I want to offer as a reflection, the why we have this vision. The first is that we are all addicted and dependent from the system, from this medical system. Think about drugs. We have this little pain and we get drugs. We have something going on in our body and we have to go to the doctor. And we have to do 1,000 investigations. This is not to say that it's bad. Of course you can do it. But I just want to offer to step back and reflect why we do that. And I personally think that we have an addiction and dependence from this system. That there is always something outside us that saves us. That's something outside us that tells us what's best for us. This society perpetuates the disconnection with our body. Are we actually listening to us, to what we need? Physically, mentally, emotionally. The second point is about childbirth and interventions in childbirth. And I'm talking about unnecessary interventions. I give you a couple of examples. Every intervention has a consequence. So if someone offers you induction, we know that induction of labor may cause more instrumental birth, may cause C-section, more use of epidural because it's more painful. It might cause actually alterations on the baby heart rate. And so if we get that unnecessary intervention that actually you didn't really need, you were just pushed to get that because of this vision, birth is dangerous. So if you get an induction or if you get an episiotomy, so the cut of the vulva and the vagina when the baby is passing through the birth canal, and they might offer you because of some clinical reason, or they might offer you, oh, your vagina is tight, you won't be able to birth your baby, which might be untrue. Then that cut might lead to hemorrhage, might lead to painful recovery. And so actually, when there are unnecessary interventions, they save you from those consequences, from those unnecessary consequences that they pushed you for. So they save you from the interventions that they caused, they offer. The third point, and I'm reading here because I don't want to lose track, real emergencies. So I worked for over 10 years in developing countries, low resources countries. And many times I witnessed, I assisted, I supported women in really disastrous condition. I was seeing per day sometimes 3, 4, 5 maternal death, and many infant death, fetal death, newborn death. But of course the context is different. But those women, for example, they were staying at home in labor for 5, 7, 1 week. And they were coming to us after 5, 6 days. They didn't eat, they didn't drink water, they were walking for kilometers and kilometers, and they were coming after 1 week. And most of the time the baby was already dead, and the mother was in really critical condition. So it's not just so easy to die during childbirth, except if you are in really critical and completely different context. But here in our world, women have access to hospital, we have resources, we have qualified staff. If you have a pregnancy that actually is physiological, that doesn't have any pathology, complications, it's very unlikely that during birth you will have an emergency. And even if you choose birth outside the hospital and you need to get advanced care in the hospital, you still have time to go to discuss. And the last point is about protocols and guidelines. So if you actually read protocols and guidelines, you will see that they are just rules. Most of the protocols and the guidelines are not based on evidence medicine. They are just based on rules that the hospital wants to create, because they have to have rules, because they work like a chain where, they have to have certain time to see clients or patients or women, people, and they have to have a certain routine. So when they offer you an intervention based on their protocols and guidelines, actually go and read and check. And then you can reflect and see, okay, do I really need that? Does it make me feel comfortable? It's something that I really need. Because it's time to take your power back. It's time to take your body back. And be responsible for your health, for my health, for our health. And that means be able to respond to now, to the present moment, to what I need, to what my intuitions are telling me, to what my emotions are telling me, and not to what others are telling me. That means be responsible for myself. No one can save you. No one can save you from your story, from your choices, from your life. Only you can save yourself. Of course, we are here to support you. We are here to be with you in these choices. But only you can take responsibility for yourself. Only you can take your power back.